Good evening, fight fans. This is Chris Guzman with your weekly Thursday night injection of boxing talk. Updates and all-out arguments. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. It is Thursday night, December the 11th, 2008. We are live from Leg Up Studios Productions in Hobart, Indiana. My partner in crime, Emil Sarpabinski Kegabine, right here on my right. Mo, what is up with you?
Not much, man. I had a big weekend this weekend with fights. I got surgery going on tomorrow, and
the highs and the lows of life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hope I'll probably be off. I probably won't be at the show for a couple weeks, and because my arm's in a sling, and it's gonna be a lot of work.
It's gonna be hard for you to drive.
Yeah, it'll be hard just to do anything basically. I'll probably be watching all the fights, staying up. I might call in or whatever. Try to get on the show whatever way I can.
No. I will be calling you, and you'll be on it any way you can.
But pretty exciting. Not only we have a big week of fights last week, we got a big week coming up this week, starting off tonight with Steve Cunningham and Thomas Adamek.
Possibly right now. I don't know exactly when those fights were to start. 8 p.m. Eastern, an hour ago.
Yeah, so
at this point, Agbeko and William Gonzalez, the bantamweights, are probably fighting, if not already over. I can't speak intelligently on that because, of course, we're here trying to do this.
TiVo's taking care of that for me, so...
Timmy is such a ninja. I mean, a ninja.
So swift on his feet. But we had some, not only that, we had some big news. We had some guys contact us via the message board on Bolo Punch. And
yes.
Actually, some guys were talking. We're talking about the Miguel Cotto.
There's some squirrels loose in the room. That's the problem.
The Shane Mosley had a lot of comments on it. Shane Mosley's testing.
Yeah, for HGH, for steroids, whatever it was that he admitted to taking. I mean, it's not like the transcripts were made public as yet. So, I mean, we don't know exactly what he took. But, whoever wrote in, very knowledgeable on his father, Jack Mosley, and what he's endorsing right now, which is, if I read it correctly, an HGH alternative.
Yeah, some type of completely legal substance. So I don't know. It might have had something to do with him. He might have been tied in with that whole thing. We don't know exactly when his father left and how it tied in with the fights and everything.
I don't know, and until I know for sure, I'm not going to speculate. I don't know how that all fits together, and I think it might tarnish the kingdom that has been known to be called Sugar Shane Mosley, because, I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer all the way. He's done it all. He's even failed at some attempts. So, I mean, he's not like this Floyd where you don't even know if he's human. I mean, if they were to say tomorrow that Floyd's been taking steroids for his whole career, you'd be saying,
"Of course,
I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it."
Kind of like Barry Bonds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but he hasn't. I mean, Floyd hasn't been taking any drugs. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so at all. I mean, there's nothing about him that would make me think that he's anything more than just a phenomenal athlete. So that's.
And someone actually wrote in about a press release in the Grand Rapids Times that Floyd Mayweather is looking to fight Manny Pacquiao, who won this weekend.
Well, we just had an awesome fight, and when Timmy, the producer Patterson, gets back in the room, I'm going to demand a public apology for him complaining like a little girl that my pick coincided with his pick, and therefore he would have to change his pick. Timmy, the producer Patterson, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Been a little bit busy running around like a crazy man, but life is good. So
more ways than one.
I am not.
I'm going to give you a chance to publicly apologize now.
That is not going to happen.
No, that will happen because
that will not happen.
No, that's garbage.
You cannot be right once every 10 years and then expect apology when you are right. That doesn't happen.
I can expect it.
You ain't gonna get it.
That's garbage. That's garbage because you were scared to even voice your.
I think this is what happened. I think you made me go first. I made such a good point that you decided to jump on board with me.
Manny, talk to me, man. Talk to me, Manny. Because this dude over here don't know a damn thing about a damn thing. Jesus. Yeah, you, okay, how's that feel, that thinking thing you've been up to?
It works every once in a while for me.
Yeah, it sure didn't work last week. You should have, you stuck with your gut, which is sizable these days, and you went ahead and you decided that Pacquiao was going to win. You were totally right.
I was right.
It has no, yeah.
But you're right, I did want to change my pick just because you jumped on board.
Like a little bitch. Only a little bitch. I'm going to change my pick. So change it.
I said I wanted to, but I wouldn't because I knew I was going to be right.
And I went with De La Hoya because I figured he was going to come into this fight much bigger than what he came into. I don't understand why he didn't come in much bigger than what he did. He came in actually weighing less than what Pacquiao weighed. And
very scary.
I expected him to come in at like 160.
Well, that's one of the things we're going to be talking to about with our special guest tonight, Stevie 2 Pound Forbes, who is the previous gentleman to step in the ring with Oscar. And we're going to talk a lot about his fight with Oscar and what he saw in the fight with Manny that Oscar was doing before but did not do this time. I mean, he fought twice this year, once against Forbes and once against Pacquiao. Looked terrible in his fight against Forbes, and looked much worse in his fight against Pacquiao. So I mean,
yeah, it looked like kind of a glorified sparring match. It didn't look It didn't look quite as
I wouldn't call it glorified.
Well, it didn't look as clean punching as what you would think. You would think it would come out of Oscar, and Forbes just couldn't land on Oscar.
You're talking about Forbes and Oscar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people thought of that fight like that. Obviously Steve Forbes he's a former champion. He's not going to come into the ring sparring somebody. He's coming in there to win.
He's coming in there to kill somebody.
Yeah. But those guys coming in as friends, it came off kind of bad looking, and it looked pretty bad in the ring when they fought each other. Although he basically gave De La Hoya more than what most people expected him to give him.
I was unaware that they were ever friends. By the way, that's news to me. I mean, I even spoke to him, and he knew him, but
yeah.
But
maybe they weren't friends. I thought they were former sparring partners.
I don't know anything about any sparring, but we'll ask him. I don't know where that came from. I don't know anything about that. I don't think they were friends. I spoke to him. I met him about a month ago in Cicero, and it was I asked him what was it like the day that you got the call that you were going to be fighting him. And I'll ask him that again tonight, just so you guys can hear it. But we'll be talking to him in about 20 minutes or so. And there's plenty there. So that's going to be a great guest. We've also got some Tommy the Duke Morrison news.
Yeah, actually, some guys from his camp contacted me on the YouTube site. They say that he's looking to get back into the ring again, and they're actually going over to Italy to set up a fight against, how do you say this gentleman?
Paulo Vido's in Italy. So Morrison's going to be heading over to Italy to actually sit ringside and watch this, from what we understand, because Vidos is going to be fighting another gentleman for the title, the European title.
Yeah, and they say actually the HIV, they say conspiracy will finally be revealed that it was a HIV negative. Hopefully they can get that all out in public and show that Tommy should be back in the ring. He's kind of getting up there in age. We were talking about this earlier.
He's not at Evander age.
No.
But he's at advanced age.
Yeah.
He is getting up there. So
he doesn't quite have the same wear because he had such a long layoff.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's kind of like what the gentleman a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the Lehman Brewster fight against Bruce Seldon. Bruce Seldon didn't get used up. So yeah, he might be 40 years old, but he has essentially the body of a 30-year-old because he didn't fight from the time he was 15 straight through. I mean, he took long layoffs.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, the ring rust is going to be terrible. Yeah, but I don't know. I think if I had to fight late into my into my advanced years, I'd rather have big gaps of empty space in the middle than have fought nonstop. You're going to fall apart.
And not only that, in recent times, it's been proven in pretty much all sports, the way that training has came about, that people now can go later into their career
Sure.
and continue to be productive. I mean, not just in boxing. I mean, you see Hopkins, you see it. Yeah, you see it in many other sports other than just boxing.
Sure.
Hopkins is the the first guy I could think of, though. He's even better than what Foreman was at his advanced age, I would say.
Well, yeah, Foreman did not have the body of a slick, sleek heavyweight. He was huge. He was immense. He had enormously thick arms and shoulders and back, but he had the gut of an old man.
Yeah.
And the last thing to go was that natural power, which is what he basically based his entire career on anyway, was his power. I mean, he had a lot of boxing ability, and he had a lot of things work going on technically, but no one has more. No one in the last 30 years, outside of like Ali and maybe a handful of other guys, have had the technical abilities of a Bernard Hopkins. So, I mean, and to keep himself in the shape that he keeps himself in, running like crazy.
Yeah,
Dude's scary.
He lives at his fighting weight. He doesn't fluctuate like most fighters do. Now Tommy's coming back, and we talked about that long layoff, kind of like what George Foreman did have, and they're at heavyweight, so there's a lot of comparisons. So if Tommy, he got back in for what, one fight or two fights? I don't remember exactly how many fights he got in there for.
Well, he had a stint in some mixed martial arts too.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. He had one fight in boxing and then one fight in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, so I think 2, possibly 3 fights, and it. I mean,
it kind of tapered off, and we had.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Tommy Morrison in the last couple of months, actually. So I'm glad to hear that he's in line for some sort of recognition. And if he gets in line to against this Paulo Vidos to get a European title and turn that into something, the heavyweight division's wide open. This would be a perfect time for him to jump back in.
Yeah.
I mean, Riddick Bowe's going to be on the undercard Saturday night.
Yeah, so that, I mean, and Riddick Bowe, I don't know, he has to be close to the same age as Tommy. He might be older.
They've got to be right around. They're both probably. Well, Riddick Bowe is younger than Evander, so he's probably 42, 43, because Evander's 46.
I'm not sure.
Evander's 46, because he's older than Foreman was when Foreman won the belt from Michael Moore. So there you go. I have not even touched on the long docket of stuff. But Tommy Morrison, we love you. We can't wait to see you back in the ring. We know you're HIV negative. We knew that for all this time. I mean, you can't get as many negative tests as you had. You know, it was obviously a false positive, which you've been saying for forever now, and it's obvious. It's obvious. You don't get that many negative tests if you're HIV positive. End of story.
And he has a lot of fans out there waiting to see him get back in the ring, including us.
Obviously. Oh my God.
And
I love Rocky V, man.
And of course, a couple other guys that we want to see get in the ring, which we had some notes on. People sending us messages: Pacquiao and Mayweather now.
God.
Let's skip. We'll talk about the Pacquiao De La Hoya fight when we get to the past fights. But let's talk about this possible fight coming up.
What does that mean for the sport? Truly, truly, that means the 2 best fighters in the world get in the ring together. And when is the last fight that you can honestly say the best 2 fighters in the world were in the ring together? I couldn't even say it. Because honestly, when Ali and Frazier fought any of their 3 fights.
What about Leonard and Hagler, or Hagler and Hearns?
Well, I mean, I'm going back 30, 40 years there. Well, 30 years. 35 years. Damn. But yeah, talking Leonard and Hearns and Hagler and Duran, when those 4 fought, it's possible. But even then, I mean, you had that's mid 80s. That's mid to late 80s. That's when Mike Tyson was doing his best stuff. A lot of people would have put Tyson ahead of those guys. So at the time, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, hell no, he doesn't even belong in the same sentence as those guys, because Tyson never beat a great heavyweight.
And then
who was in their prime at the time.
You got to put maybe De La Hoya in when he fought Pernell Whitaker.
Also, when he fought Trinidad.
Yeah, those guys were all at the top of the game.
But the Trinidad fight became nothing. It became a big joke, and I think Pernell Whitaker beat him. So, yeah, I mean, there are instances in our lifetime when you could say possibly.
But we're looking. I mean, it's 10 years between each of these fights that we're bringing up here.
It's so rare. I mean, honestly, the 2 best fighters in the world, both in their prime, right now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can really say that Pacquiao's in his prime. He's about to turn 30. 26 to 28 is generally considered their prime, but It's not like he's 35, 36. It's not.
And he sure is performing like he's in
He
his
sure
prime.
as hell is. If he's not in his prime, no one told him. Because he sure is pretending like he is. Damn. I mean,
And he moved up in weight, and usually when you move up in weight, it seems like you lose some of your power. It doesn't seem like you lost much power. It's all of his speed transfer with him.
It's sickening.
He just looks so quick at welterweight.
Love it.
And not only does he looks so quick to me that I even think he might be quicker than Floyd.
You said that on the phone to me a couple days ago. I'm not completely sold, but then again, I haven't seen Floyd fight in a good while.
Yeah,
Good while. So
we haven't seen him get in the ring before together, but
the weird thing is that he wants his father to train him. That blows me away. Why would you not want to use
the same guy that's been training you the whole time?
The guy that essentially got you to where you were. Now, you're the one in the ring. I'm not taking anything away from you, Floyd. But Roger is the man that did this. What was all that garbage around Cinco de Mayo last year? I was glued to the screen watching 24/7 for.
Not only that, when Steve Forbes, the guy that's going to be on the show later, wanted to fight against De La Hoya, he told Roger that he couldn't train him because he thought that he might fight Oscar again, and he didn't want Roger giving away the game plan and showing Steve Forbes how to beat Oscar.
Okay, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, bottom line, if you have a guy that has helped you get to the mountaintop, to being the best fighter in the world, and you're not going to use him, for what? I mean, I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, you haven't been trained by your father in a fight that counted in a real situation in quite a while.
Yeah.
Use the guy that's gotten you where you are.
I mean, it's not that his father's a bad trainer. He's
a great trainer.
Yeah, he's proven to be one of the best trainers.
He is a great trainer, but he's not Floyd's trainer.
Exactly.
And Floyd, don't take the worst part of Oscar De La Hoya, which is his revolving door of trainers, and apply that to you.
Yeah, because you can obviously look at Oscar and see that doesn't work for him.
It hasn't worked yet. What works for Oscar is continuity. Someone sticks with him 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fights, and he gets a string of wins. Second, he gets mad at somebody and he fires him or whatever, he gets a new guy. Well, yeah, that new guy did great stuff with other fighters. And you think that that's going to rub off on you. Why? Because you had Angelo Dundee come into the ring for a couple of training sessions? It's a joke. And I'm not saying you disgraced Angelo Dundee. You didn't. I mean, what you did was you put him up on a pedestal, which he deserves to be on. He's a Hall of Famer and he's a great guy. But to think that was going to help, come on.
Yeah.
Nacho Beristain, hell of a trainer. But there is no magic pill in this world. You cannot just say, well, I've got 2 great trainers now. They don't know anything about me. They've never trained me before.
Yeah.
But they'll be in my corner.
The only difference is his father has trained him before. You know, Floyd's father has trained him before.
Yeah, way long ago.
Yeah.
Come on, that's not even applicable. That barely even matters. Barely even matters. It is 8:20, which means I've got to fly through this stuff in 10 minutes.
All right, let's get it going then.
The IBHOF, the International Boxing Hall of Fame of Canastota, New York, has announced. They announced yesterday, actually, that their 2009 class is ready to go. They've been voted in, and it's done. Orlando Canizales, former bantamweight champion of the world. Bob Goodman is a matchmaker, publicist, and promoter. Brian Mitchell is South African junior lightweight. Keto Honda is a promoter, not to be confused with Piston Honda. Journalist Hugh McIlvaney from the United Kingdom, and broadcaster Larry Merchant from HBO.
Larry Merchant and one of his teammates now, actually.
One of his teammates who fought a little bit. Fought a little bit, did a little bit of fighting.
I was kind of excited to see Larry Merchant get in there.
I am excited to see Larry Merchant because you don't see many broadcasters even there, let alone inducted.
Yeah.
But, yeah, one name that I did leave off the list is former heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis. So that's going to be pretty outstanding.
Which is the big draw this year.
Yes.
It's this year's Larry Holmes, basically.
This year's Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was last year, and now you've got Lennox Lewis this year. This is going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
And when they bring Lennox Lewis in, you kind of first thing that comes in your head: who did he beat? Who beat him? Who's going to be coming to see him get inducted?
Yeah, because with Larry Holmes last year, Jerry Cooney showed up, and you had Ron Lyle show up, and you had guys that actually made their mark by fighting Larry
the year
Holmes.
before, when Duran got inducted, there were
Vinny Paz was there, and Hagler, and guys that made their mark by fighting him. So, and Iran Barkley too was there.
Yeah, and he just showed up. He wasn't. He was not invited by the Hall of Fame or anything. He just showed up like the day before.
Iran Barkley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Iran Barkley oftentimes is invited. I don't know if it would go on the record as being not invited. He didn't give his RSVP. He's probably always invited.
Yeah.
Didn't give the RSVP in time, and then just showed.
Well, any famous champion, they're gonna
Sure.
pump him right up on the main stage
Of
there.
course.
But yeah, like you said, he didn't RSVP ahead of time. They had no idea that he was coming.
Yeah. Bottom line there. Also, Larry Holmes fought Leon Spinks, who was there.
Yeah, Leon Spinks is there every year though.
Yes. Awesome.
But when you look at Lennox Lewis, there's a chance that Tyson might be there this year.
It's always a possibility. You never know.
He gave Tyson a big fight that he didn't have to at the end of Tyson's
He
career.
did not have to give that fight. That is something that if we get 10 minutes to talk with him, it needs to be brought up. He gave Tyson the chance of a lifetime. Because with one punch, even Lewis will say, one punch, he could have knocked me out.
Yeah.
He could have ended everything with
That's
one shot.
Hasim Rockman.
Hasim Rockman, who's going to be fighting Klitschko this weekend. Man, one punch away from having all the belts that matter.
And you might see Hasim Rockman there. You never know.
I don't know. I don't know if they're buddies.
I don't know, but he made Hasim Rockman's career, so you never know.
Hasim Rockman made his career,
Yeah,
but with
a lot of help from Lennox Lewis.
with Lennox Lewis's chin.
Yeah, with Lennox Lewis's name.
Yeah, it was his name. Oh. Contender last night, Alfredo Escalera Jr. Didn't stop, but definitely beat John Schneider, ex-Marine, ex-this, ex-that. Dropped him in the third round and then got a unanimous decision in Singapore. This stuff was actually, it all happened already. So I'm sitting here, I've got Tommy Brooks' business card, and it's like, man, I'd love to, he's down 2-0. His team keeps losing. Maybe I could call Tommy Brooks
and get his
say,
idea.
hey, can you get me the number for the guy you used to train who trains the other team? Because that's actually what's going on. KP in the house. Calzaghe, who is doing a lot of press lately, is actually sitting there saying that boxing is dying, that Oscar's not a fighter, that it's all a joke. All he has to say are negative things about the sport. The sport that made him a millionaire, the sport that lifted him up, that kept him undefeated. Now he's teeter-tottering between, do I want to retire, do I not, what do I want to do?
Boxing is dying in the States. It's not dying overseas.
If anything, it's getting more popular in other places of the world.
Because they don't have to watch all the champions overseas fight anymore. They don't have to watch all the people in the States win all the belts. They have people in their hometowns not winning belts, and it's great for other countries. It kind of sucks here.
Problem is, it's just shifting. It's just shifting from us to them, and them being, 50 other countries. Oscar and Manny got 1.25 million pay-per-view buys, which makes it the fourth highest rated pay-per-view ever of boxing.
It did not surpass.
No, it didn't even really come close to
Floyd and
Oscar last year on Cinco de Mayo. And that's that. It's only the fourth time in boxing pay-per-view history that non-heavyweights have attained the 1 million buy mark, which is cool, because, again, only the fourth time that a fight that was not based on heavyweights got over 1 million hits.
Do you have the stat on how many of those fights involved Oscar De La Hoya?
At least two of them have. possibly even 3.
I'm thinking all 4 of them.
You think all 4 of them?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say probably Trinidad. I mean, Whitaker was free HBO.
Yeah, Trinidad, De La Hoya, this one.
You think Hopkins?
Possibly. I don't know if Hopkins. Maybe Mosley. I'm not sure. It's but it's
Could have been.
It's the more recent fights have been the ones that are on pay-per-view, and De La Hoya has been the most popular guy in boxing for a while. So.
Yeah. Ricardo Torres is not going to be fighting Kendall Holt for the rubber match that was supposed to be going on right about here. It was supposed to be Saturday.
Yeah, this weekend.
On Showbox. Demetrius Hopkins jumped right in though and said, "Hell yeah, I'll take a title shot."
So Demetrius Hopkins is going to be fighting.
Demetrius Hopkins is going to be fighting Kendall Holt.
Which actually he probably has a little.
He's got a chance. He's got a chance against Kendall Holt. I don't know if he'll beat him, and I'm not going to make a pick because Tommy will cry like a little girl if I try to make a little pick. So I don't want to do that. And finally, Vladimir Klitschko is quoted as saying Hasim Rahman is a real challenger. For him, it's probably his last chance at the title. He has certainly not come to lose. I'm prepared to go 12 rounds, but a clear win means an early win. It can happen in any round. I will try to win the fight as clearly as I can. Whatever that means. You either win or you don't. And Hasim Rahman says, and I'm quoting, "I've learned from the past and I'm very well prepared. The area here is still Klitschko land, but on Sunday morning this will be Rahman land. I will win the fight early." He's obviously looking for the knockout, which would probably be his only chance anyway. His only chance is going to be the knockout because if you can knock out Lennox Lewis, then you can knock out, Klitschko.
Yeah,
it's a possibility.
You can't forget he was the champ. Not long ago was Rahman the champ.
Undisputed every belt there was around his waist, and you couldn't put them all on his waist. On his shoulders, on his head, they were everywhere.
Well, not only that, I mean, even more recently than that, he had just one of the trinkets, and that was had to be only like a year or two ago that he had those.
It wasn't that long, yeah.
And that at that time he was the only U.S. champ.
And then Oleg Moskev took it.
Yeah. Who actually was another U.S. champ, but he's not originally from here.
They all live here now.
Exactly.
Makes no difference.
We could claim him.
Sure. Yep.
We'll claim him.
So screw you, Russia, right there.
No.
He's ours.
They're champs, they're ours. If you ain't a champ,
yes.
I can just see the comment now, freaking yank.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll say frick. Timmy, real quick, how can our listeners get in touch with us tonight?
Hit us up on the hotline, 219-743-9743. Yahoo Instant Messenger is up and running. Keyword Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, or hit us up on the chat room on Ustream.tv.
All right, we're going to take our first break of the night. We'll be right back with our special guest, Stevie, 2-pound Forbes, runner-up on the Contender last year, and was the...
Year before last.
Pardon me, year before last. And was the... Not the last man to be in the ring with Oscar, but the man before the last man. So, 2 fights ago. Let's go ahead and take a break. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. www.bolopunchboxinghour.com. Streaming to you live, as always, on Ustream.tv.